You're our last hope, sweetie. Please." Her voice cracked like she'd been crying for hours, and I swear I could hear her clutching a tissue on the other end of the line. I sat frozen on the edge of my couch, my phone on speaker, both hands gripping my coffee mug like it could anchor me. "We're being evicted, Scarlett. They're locking the doors Friday. We didn't want to tell you, we didn't want to burden you, but—" My mother choked back a sob. "My name's Scarlett. And if you've ever had a parent weaponize tears, you already know how this story starts." "I thought you said everything was fine last month," I asked, my voice too calm, too flat. I knew that tone. It was the one I used in corporate meetings, when someone was lying straight to my face. "It was," she said quickly. "But then your father's hours got cut. And the mortgage, well, we fell behind. We tried, honey, we tried everything." I heard a muffled voice in the background. Dad, probably. He never called me himself. He let Mom do the emotional heavy lifting, like always. "We didn't want to come to you," she added, "but Brendan's tied up with Elena's wedding plans, and he's already done so much for us. And you're always so responsible, so smart." There it was, the compliment that felt like a leash. "I just launched my business," I said, staring at the half-packed boxes of bath bombs and candle jars in my living room. "I haven't even opened the online store yet." "I know, baby, and we're so proud of you. But we're talking about being on the street. Do you understand that?" I didn't answer. Because I did understand. I understood that I had $27,000 in my savings account, every cent I'd scraped together over the last 4 years to escape the 9-to-5 grind. I understood that I had no backup plan, no safety net, and no one else to bail me out if things went sideways. But I also understood my mother. She'd been pulling this kind of thing since I was 10. The dramatic breakdowns, the guilt, the way she always made it sound like I was the only one who could save her. And somehow, despite everything, I still wanted to be the daughter who could. "How much?" I asked. She sniffled. 25, just to catch up. We'll pay you back, I swear, with interest." I laughed. I didn't mean to. It just slipped out. "Scarlett!" she snapped, her voice sharpening like a knife. "This isn't funny." "No," I said. "It's not." There was a long pause, then softer. "We raised you. We gave you everything. All we're asking for is a little help. Family helps each other. Except when it came to Brendan. Brendan got help without asking. Brendan got a new car at 22, a down payment for his condo, a job through Mum's cousin even though he failed out of college twice. I got lectures about independence and pulling my own weight. But sure, family helps each other. I'll transfer it tonight," I said. "Oh, thank you, baby. Thank you. You don't know what this means." I hung up before she could say anything else. I stared at the wall for a long time. Then I opened my banking app and drained my account. $27,000. Gone. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, my stomach twisted in knots. Something felt off. Not just the usual regret or anxiety. Something wrong. I grabbed my phone and opened Facebook. My parents hadn't posted anything in weeks. No status updates, no photos, not even a shared meme. That alone was weird. My mum usually posted daily, pictures of her garden, inspirational quotes, passive-aggressive rants about some people not calling their mothers enough. I clicked on Brendan's profile. Nothing new there either, but his page was mostly private. I scrolled anyway, looking for anything, any sign that they were struggling, that they really needed the money. Nothing. I checked my mum's friends list, clicked on a few names. Still nothing. No tagged photos, no check-ins. It was like they'd gone dark. I told myself I was being paranoid, that they were embarrassed, that maybe they didn't want people to know they were losing the house, but the feeling didn't go away. I got up, walked into the kitchen and opened the fridge, empty except for almond milk and a jar of pickles. I'd been living lean for months, putting everything into my business. I hadn't bought new clothes in over a year. I skipped dinners out. I made my own soap for God's sake, and I just handed over every dollar I had. I leaned against the counter, gripping the edge until my knuckles went white. I wasn't angry. Not yet. I was just hollow. The next morning, I texted Ariel. Me. I did it. Gave them the money. Ariel. Oh, Scar, are you okay? Me. Not really. Ariel. Want me to come over? Me. No, I just need to clear my head. I spent the rest of the day labeling candle jars and trying not to think about it. But that night, I checked their profiles again. Still nothing. Still that gnawing feeling in my gut. I didn't know it yet, but I just lit the first match, and everything was about to burn. 2 weeks later, I was in line at Target, holding a $12 planner I couldn't afford, when my phone buzzed with a notification. Brendan Wood tagged you in a photo. I froze. Brendan never tagged me in anything. I tapped it open, expecting a throwback, or maybe some passive-aggressive family post. It was a cruise photo. Him, shirtless, grinning with a drink in each hand. Mom in a sun hat, Dad in a Hawaiian shirt. All three of them, arms around each other, standing on the deck of a massive ship with crystal blue water behind them. The caption read, "Best trip ever, courtesy of Mom and Dad." Blessed Dying Family. First, by Royal Cruise. My stomach dropped so hard I nearly dropped the planner. The timestamp? 4 days after I wired them the money, I stepped out of line and walked straight to the Starbucks inside the store. I needed to sit. I needed to breathe. I needed to not throw my phone across the room. I zoomed in on the photo, every detail burning into my brain. And then I saw it. Around my mum's neck, my necklace, the one I'd made as a prototype for my shop. A simple pendant with dried lavender and resin. I only made 5. I gave one to Ariel, one I kept. The other 3 were in the box I'd packed for family samples. I'd mailed them a week before the phone call. She wore it like a trophy. I called Ariel. "Hey," she answered chipper. "How's target therapy?" "I need you to look at Brendan's latest post, right now." There was a pause, then a sharp inhale. No way. Yep. They're on a cruise. Not just a cruise, a luxury cruise. Look at the drinks. Look at the background. Oh my God. Scarlett, you gave them your entire savings. Yeah, I said, staring blankly at the photo. And apparently, I funded their floating buffet. Are you okay? Like, do I need to come get you? I'm fine, I lied. I'm just processing. Do you want me to comment on it? She asked. Something subtle but savage? No, not yet. I ended the call and sat there for a long time, watching the likes and comments pile up. You guys look amazing. So jealous. Enjoy every second. Family goals. I wanted to scream. Instead, I scrolled through Brendan's tagged photos, looking for more clues. There were 5 more posts. One showed them in a private cabana, another at a fancy dinner, Mom holding a glass of champagne, Dad laughing like he didn't just fake financial ruin. Brendan posted a boomerang of them dancing at what looked like a casino night on the ship. I clicked on one of the comments. Didn't y'all just say you were having money problems? LOL, this don't look broke. No reply. I opened my banking app, still drained. I stared at the screen, heart pounding. Not from sadness, not even from shock, from rage. I'd been scammed by my own family. I left the planner on the Starbucks table and walked straight out of the store. Back home, I yanked open the closet where I kept my shipping supplies. I pulled out the box I'd sent them, the one with the sample products. I'd taken a photo of its contents before mailing it. I pulled up the picture on my phone. All 3 necklaces were there. I zoomed in on the one my mum was wearing in the cruise photo. Same lavender pattern, same chain length, same tiny imperfection in the resin swirl. They'd planned this. They knew exactly what they were doing. I started pacing. My hands shook. I called my mom. Voicemail. I tried Dad. Straight to voicemail. I didn't bother with Brendan. He wouldn't answer anyway. I texted all 3. Me. Hope the cruise is nice. Must be a relief not to be homeless after all. No reply. I waited an hour. Nothing. Ariel came over with wine and a frozen pizza. I don't even know what to say, she said, curling up on my couch. This is next level evil. They lied to my face, I said, pacing. They cried. They guilted me. And then they took Everything. I had and went on vacation. Scarlett, you have to confront them. No, I said. I'm not going to scream or cry or beg for an apology. That's what they want. That's how they win. So what then? I'm going to make sure they never do this to me or anyone else again. Ariel blinked. Okay, but how? I didn't answer right away. I sat down, pulled my laptop onto my knees, and opened a new spreadsheet. First, I said, I'm going to find out exactly how much they've taken from me over the years. And then? I looked her dead in the eye. And then I'm going to take it back. She raised her glass. To karma. I clinked mine against hers. To karma. And to the fire I was about to start. You kept records of all this? Ariel asked, eyes wide as she stared at the spreadsheet on my laptop. Not on purpose, I said, clicking through tabs. But I've got email receipts, Venmo logs, old texts. It adds up. How much are we talking? I scrolled down to the bottom. $42,700 over the last 7 years. Ariel whistled. Jesus, that's a whole-ass car. Or a down payment, or a business loan, or literally anything other than funding Brendan's laziness and my parents' fake emergencies. We sat on my living room floor, surrounded by boxes of candle inventory and empty coffee mugs. I hadn't slept much. My focus had tunneled into one thing. The truth. I wanted to know every dollar, every lie. I found something else, I said, pulling out a manila folder from a box I hadn't opened in years. This was from when I moved out of their house. I shoved everything in here. I dumped the contents onto the floor. Old pay stubs, junk mail, a few birthday cards, and a folded letter. What's that? Ariel asked. I opened it. My hands went still. It was handwritten. My dad's scratchy cursive, unmistakable. Scarlett, I don't know if you'll ever read this. I just wanted to say I'm sorry for what we allowed, for not standing up for you more. You didn't deserve it. I hope you find peace even if it's not with us. No date, no envelope, no signature, just guilt pressed into paper and never sent. Ariel leaned over to read it. Holy? He knew. He knew, I said, voice flat. And he still let it happen. I folded the letter and slid it back into the folder. All right, enough mourning. Time to get to work. What's the plan? I want to hit where it hurts, financially, socially, emotionally, but I need leverage. We started with Brendan. I dug through his LinkedIn. His job at the marketing firm looked cushy. Remote, 6 figures, all perks. I checked his public Instagram, then his fiancée's, Eleanor. She posted everything. Engagement ring photos, brunches, gym selfies, even screenshots of sweet texts from Brendan. Look at this, I said, showing Ariel a post from Elena. She thinks he saved up for that ring. Ariel squinted. Isn't that your bank transfer date? Exactly. We kept digging. I found a Reddit account that matched Brendan's username. He posted in crypto groups, bragged about flipping NFTs, even mentioned borrowing family money for investments. I took screenshots of everything. Then I checked my credit reports. Holy crap, I muttered. What? Ariel leaned over. There's a life insurance policy under my name, taken out 3 years ago. Listed owner? Michael Ward? Wait, your dad took out a policy on you? Apparently. That's not normal. No, it's not. I called the insurance company. After a 30-minute hold and a lot of verification, I confirmed it. My dad had taken out a $100,000 policy on me. I wasn't even aware of it. No beneficiary listed. Just sitting there. I ended the call and stared at the wall. They've been planning for my failure, I said. Or worse. Ariel reached for my hand. We're going to flip this. I swear. We spent the next few days building the foundation. I created a burner email, posed as a real estate investor. I found a guy named Morgan through a business contact who specialized in flipping family homes in our area. I asked him if he'd play along for a cut. He agreed instantly. I'll offer them 3 times market value, I said. They'll be too greedy to say no. And then what? Then I'll own the house. Ariel grinned. You're terrifying. I'm just done playing nice. We also started collecting receipts. I printed out every bank transfer, every Venmo note, every "I'll pay you back" text. We organised them into folders, one for my parents, one for Brendan. Then I drafted a timeline, every manipulation, every lie, every favour that turned into a trap. The more I wrote, the more I remembered. Like the time I loaned Brendan $500 for car repairs and later saw him post a photo with new sneakers and a bottle of Dom. Or when Mum told me she had cancer, only for it to turn out to be a scare that somehow required a $2,000 loan. Or when they sold my grandmother's heirloom necklace, something I was promised, and told me it had been lost in the move. I added it all. By the end of the week, I had a binder full of evidence and a fire in my chest that wouldn't go out. Ariel looked over the pages. "So what's next?" "I plant the seed," I said. Then I let it grow. I sent the first email to Morgan and copied Ariel. It was short and sweet. Subject: Interested buyer. Quick close. Body: I represent a client looking to purchase a home in your neighbourhood. We're offering triple market value for a fast, no contingency close. Please contact me if interested. I attached a photo of my parents' house. Then I hit send. Ariel raised her glass of ginger ale. To poetic payback. I clinked mine against hers. To finally getting what I'm owed. "Scarlett, you're going to want to see this." Ariel spun her laptop around at the cafe table. On the screen was a forwarded email from Morgan. Subject: Interested buyer. 3x market value. From Christine. Body: Hello. We received your inquiry and are very interested. We've been thinking of downsizing anyway. Please let us know next steps. Christine and Michael. I blinked. That was fast. They replied within 6 hours, Ariel said, sipping her iced coffee. Greed works faster than guilt. I stared at the message. My parents had lived in that house for over 25 years. They'd always said they'd die in it. But now? One whiff of easy money and they were ready to pack. "Okay," I said, pulling out my phone. "Time to turn up the pressure." I opened Brendan's company website, found the HR contact, and sent an anonymous tip through the complaint portal. It was short and direct. Subject: Employee conduct concern. Message: One of your marketing managers, Brendan, is actively running side businesses during work hours and using company resources. Might want to check his Reddit history and crypto wallets. A concerned observer, I attached screenshots. Ariel raised an eyebrow. "You're really doing this?" "I'm not even halfway done." Later that night, I was labelling candle jars when my phone buzzed with a DM. From Eleanor Fox 31. Message: Hey, I know we've never really talked, but I think we need to. I saw something I wasn't supposed to. Can we meet? I stared at the screen. Ariel glanced over. Elena? Yeah. You think she found out? Only one way to find out? I sent her a reply. Me. Sure. Tomorrow? Noon at Grounded Cafe? Elena. I'll be there. The next day, I got there early. Elena walked in 5 minutes late, sunglasses on, hair in a messy bun, looking like she hadn't slept. She spotted me, hesitated, then walked over. Thanks for meeting me, she said, sitting down. What's going on? She pulled out her phone, tapped a few times, and turned the screen to me. It was a bank statement. Brendan's. The highlighted transaction, $27,000, from my account, labelled gift from Scarlett. I felt my jaw tighten. I found this on his laptop, she said. He left it open. I wasn't snooping, but then I saw the amount and I remembered him bragging that he paid for my ring himself. I nodded slowly. He didn't. I asked him about it. He said you offered it, said you were finally trying to be part of the family. I laughed, bitter and sharp. He really said that? She looked down. I believed him, at first, but then I saw the cruise photos and your necklace, and I remembered what you said at Thanksgiving last year, about always being the backup plan. I leaned forward. Elena, I'm going to be honest with you. They lied to me. They told me they were being evicted, that they had no one else. I gave them everything I had, and then they went on vacation. Her eyes welled up. I'm so sorry. I shook my head. Don't be. You didn't do this. She hesitated. I want to help. I don't know how, but I can't marry someone who lies like this, who steals from his own sister. I pulled out a flash drive and slid it across the table. What's this? She asked. Proof? Screenshots, bank statements, insurance policies. Everything they've done. I was going to go public eventually, but maybe you can help me do it with style. She took the drive. I've got a friend who runs a TikTok account that exposes scammers, like millions of followers. If we do this right, I smiled. Let's do it right. That night, I got a call from my mother. Hi, sweetheart, she chirped, like nothing had ever happened. We're coming home early. The cruise was lovely, but we missed our beds. We were thinking, maybe we could stay with you for a few days while we get things sorted. I stared at the phone, stunned by the audacity. Sure, I said sweetly. I'll get things ready. As soon as the call ended, I texted Curtis. Me. Time to flip the switch. Curtis? You sure? Me. Oh, I'm sure. Curtis, my landlord and part-time handyman, had been helping me with a side project, one I hadn't told anyone about except Ariel. While my parents were floating in the Caribbean, I'd been busy buying their house, through Morgan, using a shell LLC Ariel and I set up. Thanks to a weird zoning clause and an unpaid lien from 5 years ago, we got the house for less than they expected. The triple offer email? Bait. They signed the paperwork without reading the fine print. Now, the house was mine, and they had no clue. Curtis met me that evening with a ladder and a banner. We hung it across the garage door in bold red letters. Welcome home, Les. The next morning, I parked across the street and waited. Their Uber pulled up around 10 a.m. Mum stepped out first, dragging a pink suitcase. Dad followed, looking sunburned and annoyed. Brendan wasn't with them. They walked up to the door. Mum reached for her keys. Nothing. She tried again. Still nothing. She turned to Dad, confused. Then she looked up. She saw the banner. She read it. And then she saw me. I stepped out of my car, leaned against the hood and waved. Hi, Mum. Her face drained of colour. What is this? She asked, voice shaking. I held up a manila envelope. Deed transfer. You sold the house. To me. Dad looked like he'd been punched. You can't do this, Mum whispered. I already did. She stumbled back a step. Where are we supposed to go? I pointed to the side of the driveway. A brand new RV sat parked, fully stocked, courtesy of their own cruise fund. There's your new home, I said. Enjoy the view? And then I walked away. Christine stood frozen in the driveway, her suitcase tipped over, clothes spilling onto the pavement. Michael looked like he'd aged 10 years in 10 seconds. I didn't move. I just watched. You bought our house? She finally asked, voice brittle. No, I said. You sold it. You just didn't bother reading the paperwork. Michael stepped forward, eyes darting. Scarlett, let's be reasonable. This is a mistake. We were misled. You weren't misled, I said. You were greedy. You saw a big number and signed without thinking. That's on you. Christine's lip trembled. But we raised you, I laughed, and then you robbed me. She dropped to sit on the curb, mascara already smudging under her eyes. Where are we supposed to go? I pointed again. The RV's yours, fully stocked. Shower, fridge, queen bed. It's more than you deserve. Michael opened his mouth, but nothing came out. He just looked at the house, then at me, then back at the house. Christine was already dialing her phone. Brendan, she said into the receiver, we need you to come here. Right now. It's Scarlett. She's taken everything. I turned to leave. You're going to regret this, she called after me. I didn't even flinch. Later that night, Ariel and I sat on my patio with wine and takeout. She scrolled through TikTok, shaking her head in disbelief. Elena's friend posted the first video. It's already at 300,000 views. I leaned over to look. The video was a slideshow of screenshots. Brendan's bank transfer, the cruise photos, my necklace, the insurance policy. Overlaid with text. When your family scams you out of your life savings, so you buy their house and evict them. The sound? A slowed-down version of Karma by Taylor Swift. Comments are wild, Ariel said. People are calling you a legend. I didn't smile. Not yet. My phone buzzed. Voicemail. Brendan. I played it on speaker. You think this is funny? You think you're some kind of hero? You just destroyed our family. You humiliated Mom and Dad. You made Elena leave me. You're sick, Scarlett. You've always been jealous, and now you've gone too far. You'll end up alone. You'll always be alone. Ariel's eyebrows shot up. Wow, that's a lot of projection. I deleted the message and took another sip of wine. The next morning, Eleanor texted me. Elena. He's spiraling. He got fired. His boss saw the Reddit screenshots too. Me. I'm sorry. Elena. Don't be. He needed a wake-up call, and I needed to see the truth. A few hours later, I got another email from Morgan. Subject. Final transfer confirmed. Body. Congrats, Scarlett. The house is officially yours. No contest. They signed everything. I forwarded it to Ariel with a single emoji. That afternoon, Christine and Michael returned to the house. I was already there, organising the garage. Christine approached slowly, her face puffy and pale. We want to talk. I didn't stop working. Talk? We didn't know what we were doing, she said. We were desperate. You were never desperate, I snapped. You were just entitled. Michael cleared his throat. We can't live in an RV. You can. You just don't want to. Christine looked at me like she didn't recognise me. You've changed. I looked her dead in the eye. No, I just stopped letting you lie to me. She opened her mouth, then closed it again. For once, she had nothing to say. I reached into my pocket and pulled out my phone. Want to hear something fun? I pressed play on the voicemail from Brendan. The words echoed through the garage. You just destroyed our family. You humiliated Mom and Dad. You'll always be alone. Christine's face crumpled. Not from guilt, no. From the sound of her golden boy blaming her for everything. You recorded him? Michael asked, stunned. No, I said. He left it willingly. That's who he really is. Christine turned away, covering her mouth. You can stay in the RV until the end of the month, I said. After that, you'll need to find somewhere else. Michael looked like he wanted to argue, but Christine just nodded. They walked back down the driveway, slower than I'd ever seen them move. That night, I lit one of my candles, lavender and a eucalyptus, and sat on the floor of my new living room. My living room. The house was still half full of their leftover furniture, but it already felt different, lighter, like the ghosts were finally leaving. Ariel texted me a link. Ariel. You're trending again. I clicked it. Another TikTok. This one had clips of the voicemail, spliced with photos of my candles and bath products. The caption read, She got scammed, got even, and got her business off the ground. Karma Queen energy. I scrolled through the comments. Where can I buy her stuff? I'd bathe in those candles out of pure respect. She needs a Netflix deal. I laughed for the first time in days. Then my phone buzzed again. New email. Subject. Wholesale inquiry. Tomekulwurb. Info willowandpineboutique.com. Body. We saw your story and love your products. Interested in stocking your line in all 12 of our regional locations. Let's talk. I stared at the screen, heart pounding. Ariel called instantly. Did you see it? I saw it. Scarlett, this is it. I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. Yeah, it is. And for the first time in a long time, I believed it. Curtis stood at the edge of the driveway, arms crossed, watching Brendan's black SUV screech to a stop. He's here, he muttered. I didn't need the warning. I could hear the tires, the door slam, the angry footsteps pounding against the concrete. Brendan came storming up the lawn, face red, fists clenched. What the hell is wrong with you? I didn't flinch. Good to see you too. You humiliated Mom and Dad. You made Elena leave me. You got me fired. Are you proud of yourself? I tilted my head. I didn't get you fired. You did that all by yourself. I just helped the truth come out. He pointed a shaking finger at me. You think you're some kind of hero? You're just bitter. You've always been jealous of me. Curtis stepped forward. Hey, you need to calm down. Brendan turned on him. Who the hell are you? Landlord, and the guy who helped install that RV you're now living in. Brendan blinked. You're joking. Nope, I said. You're looking at the new homeowner. He looked at the house, then back at me. You bought it? Technically, you all sold it. I just made the offer. He laughed, but it was sharp and hollow. You're insane. No, I said. I'm done being your doormat. Christine appeared in the doorway of the RV, her face pale and pinched. Brendan, stop. You're making it worse. He ignored her. You think this makes you powerful? You think this makes you better than us? No, I said. It just makes me free. He stepped closer. You think karma's on your side? You think people are actually rooting for you? I pulled out my phone. Want to see the numbers? TikTok's at 1.4 million views. The boutique deal's signed. I've got 5 new wholesale requests in my inbox. People don't just believe me, they're buying from me. Brendan stared at me like I'd grown horns. You're gonna regret this. One day, when you're alone and bitter and broke, you'll wish you'd stayed quiet. I looked him in the eye. You already said that, in your voicemail. Want me to play it again? That shut him up. He turned and stormed back to the SUV, slamming the door so hard the whole car shook. He peeled out of the driveway, tires screeching. Christine walked over slowly, arms crossed. You've ruined everything. No, I said. I just stopped pretending everything was okay. She looked at me like she wanted to say something else. Maybe scream, maybe cry, but instead, she turned and walked back into the RV. Curtis let out a low whistle. That was intense. I exhaled. Yeah. You good? I nodded. Better than I've been in years. He clapped a hand on my shoulder. You ever need a beer, an event session, you know where to find me. Thanks, Curtis. After he left, I sat on the porch steps and watched the sun dip low behind the trees. The house was quiet, the kind of quiet that used to make me uneasy. Now, it felt like peace. My phone buzzed again. Another email. Subject. Feature request. From Local Living Magazine. Body. We'd love to do a story on your candles and your journey. Let us know if you're interested. I smiled. Then I heard the RV door creak open. Michael stepped out, holding a small box. He walked over and placed it on the porch. What's this? I asked. He didn't meet my eyes. Some old stuff of yours. Thought you might want it. I opened the box. Inside were a few childhood drawings, a cracked snow globe, and the necklace my grandmother left me, the one they told me was lost. I looked up at him. I didn't know she left it for you, he said quietly. Christine sold it without telling me. I bought it back last week. Why? He shrugged. Because some things can't be undone, but maybe they can be acknowledged. I didn't say anything. I just nodded. He turned and walked back to the RV. That night, Ariel came over with takeout again. We sat on the floor of my new living room, eating noodles straight from the containers. So, she said, mouth full. What now? Now I build, I said. The business, the brand, my peace. She raised her chopsticks. To karma. I raised mine. To consequences. We clinked them together like champagne flutes. Later, after she left, I walked through the house. I opened each door, turned on each light. I stood in the kitchen, where my mum used to lecture me. The hallway where Brendan shoved me when we were kids. The living room where I was always told to keep it down. Then I went into my old bedroom. It was still painted pale yellow. The closet still had stickers on the inside of the door. I sat on the bed and pulled out the letter from my dad, the one he never sent. I reread it. I hope you find peace, even if it's not with us. I folded it carefully and placed it in a frame. Then I hung it on the wall. A reminder, not of what I lost, but of what I finally took back. Christine banged on the front door at 9 a.m. sharp. I opened it slowly, coffee mug in hand. Can I help you? She stood there in full makeup, hair curled, wearing a blazer like she was headed to court. Michael hovered behind her, silent. We've spoken to a lawyer, she said, and we want to give you one last chance to undo this before we take legal action. I took a sip of my coffee. Undo what exactly? You tricked us into selling our home, she snapped. That offer was fraudulent. I raised an eyebrow. You signed a legally binding contract. You had every opportunity to review it. Michael cleared his throat. You used a fake buyer. That's deception. No, I said. That's business. You wanted fast money. You got it. Now you're mad because it didn't come with control. Christine's voice rose. We're your parents. And you used that title to rob me blind, I said, stepping outside and closing the door behind me. You lied about being evicted. You used my savings to go on vacation. You let Brendan steal from me. And when I finally stood up for myself, you called me cruel. Neighbours were starting to peek through blinds. Christine noticed. You think this is justice? She hissed. You think the internet clapping for you makes it right? No, I said. What makes it right is that you finally have to live with the consequences. Publicly. Michael stepped forward, voice low. You're going to regret this, Scarlett. I looked him in the eye. I already did. For years. Not anymore. Christine's face twisted. You'll end up alone. I smiled. Better alone than lied to. She turned and stormed off. Michael followed, slower, glancing back once. I didn't wave. By noon, Brendan showed up. I was in the garage, organising candle shipments. He didn't knock. He just walked in. You've ruined our family, he said, voice tight. I didn't even look up. You ruined it. I just stopped pretending. You humiliated us. You made us look like criminals. You are criminals, I said, finally turning to face him. You stole from me. You lied. You manipulated. And now you're mad because people know. He stepped closer. You made Eleanor leave. No, I said. You did that when you lied to her, when you used my money to buy her ring. She would have never known if you hadn't. Exactly, I cut in. She would have never known. That's your problem. He stared at me, breathing hard. You think you're better than us now? No, I said. I think I'm finally nothing like you. He looked around the garage, at the labelled boxes, the shelves of candles, the framed articles on the wall. You think this little business makes you powerful? I pulled out a letter from a stack. This is from a boutique in Portland. They want to carry my line. That's my third new retailer this week. He scoffed. You're still going to end up bitter and alone. I shrugged. Maybe, but I'll be honest. And solvent. He walked out without another word. That night, Ariel came over with a bottle of champagne. I saw the article in Local Living, she said, popping the cork. They called you the Candle Queen of Karma. I laughed. That's ridiculous. Scarlett, you're literally trending again. People are making reaction videos to your story. I pulled out my phone and opened TikTok. One of the top videos showed a dramatic reenactment. Someone playing me, someone playing Christine, fake tears and all. The comments were wild. This is better than any Netflix drama. She didn't burn bridges. She lit candles on them. I'd buy from her just to support the revenge. I scrolled through orders on my shop dashboard. Over 200 pending. I need to hire help, I muttered. Ariel raised her glass. To success. And revenge. I clinked mine against hers. To finally being free. The next morning, a letter arrived in the mail. No return address. Handwritten. I opened it slowly. Inside was a short note. Scarlett, you didn't deserve what we did. I see that now. I don't expect forgiveness, but I hope one day you'll believe I loved you, even if I didn't show it right. Dad. I stared at the paper for a long time. Then I folded it and placed it next to the first letter, the one he never sent. By evening, the RV was gone. No goodbye, no note. Just an empty driveway and silence. I stood at the window, watching the sun set over the street. Ariel texted me. Ariel. They're gone? Me. Yeah, Ariel. How do you feel? I stared at the screen. Then I typed. Me. Lighter. I locked the door and turned off the porch light. For once, I wasn't waiting for anyone to come home, because I already was. I was restocking shelves at the pop-up market booth when a woman walked up, holding one of my lavender candles. Is this the one from the video? she asked, grinning. Depends which video, I said, smiling back. The one where you bought your parents' house after they scammed you. I nodded. That's the one. She laughed. Iconic. I've been following the whole thing. My sister and I binged every TikTok. You're kind of a legend. I handed her a wrapped version of the candle. Glad you like it. As she walked off, Ariel appeared behind the booth, balancing coffee cups. You just got recognized again. That's the third one today. I took my cup. It's weird. It's awesome, she said. You turned trauma into a brand. I gave her a look. Okay, fine. You turned survival into a brand. Better? Closer. We packed up the booth an hour later, loading boxes into her car. Business had exploded since the videos went viral. I'd hired 2 part-time helpers, rented a small studio space, and was shipping orders faster than I could make them. As we drove back to the house, Ariel glanced at me. You ever think about reaching out to them? I didn't answer right away. No, I said finally. They made their choice, and I made mine. She nodded. Fair. Back at the house, I unlocked the door and stepped inside. The air smelled like vanilla and eucalyptus. One of the new blends. The walls were freshly painted. The furniture was mine now. The ghosts were gone. Ariel flopped onto the couch. So, what's next? I opened a box of new candle labels. I keep going. Build the business. Maybe open a storefront someday. She smiled. You're not scared anymore. No, I said. I'm not. There was a knock at the door. I opened it to find Curtis, holding a small envelope. This came to the old mailbox, he said. Thought you'd want it. I took it and thanked him. He nodded and walked off. Back inside, I opened the envelope. A check fell out. My breath caught. It was from Eleanor. Amount. $13,500 memo. My half. I'm sorry it took so long. A note was folded with it. Scarlet. I sold the ring. I figured it should go toward making things right. Thank you for showing me the truth. I hope you're doing well. Elena. I stared at the check for a long time, not because of the money, but because someone had actually tried to make amends. I showed it to Ariel. Wow, she said. Didn't see that coming. Me neither. I set the check aside and pulled a small frame from the bookshelf. Inside was the letter my dad never sent, the one I'd found in that old suitcase. I hung it on the wall of my office, right above my desk. A reminder, not of pain, of clarity, of the moment I stopped letting them define me. Later that night, I sat alone in the living room, a candle burning beside me, soft music playing in the background. The house was quiet, not the kind of quiet that feels empty, the kind that feels earned. My phone buzzed. New order, 3 items. Customer, I will note. Saw your story. Buying from you feels like lighting a little justice in my living room. I smiled. I wasn't cruel. I was just finally someone they couldn't lie to.